We're here today at Groundswell. It's a regenerative agricultural event here at Lanark Manor Farm in Hertfordshire, and it's a huge event. There's about 8,000 people here. There's a whole host of trade stands. There are field demonstrations, and there are a whole host of seminars happening here over 2 days.
We've had 8,000 people here over the 2 days. It's been very sunny. It's been absolutely monumental. There's been over 300 speakers here from all over the world, yeah, we're just excited to be here. This morning we had a very interesting character called Eddie Abu, who is a bodybuilder turned food influencer, and he's got a very important message about the food system, and he's very in touch with Generation Z, with the key message to wake the F up and stop eating junk food and start learning where your food came from. Interestingly, it wasn't just about us experiencing him, it was about him experiencing the farmers. And that's been a really good two-way knowledge exchange, and that's kind of what Groundswell is all about. Regenerative agriculture, in any shape or form, whatever it is, agriculture needs to work with the environment. We have to. Otherwise, if we destroy our environment, we're not going to be able to produce food. Humanity's not going to be able to survive on this planet. That's very broad, but that is what the key message is, and that's why everyone is so supportive of this movement. It's why everyone's here at Groundswell. It's a complicated thing, trying to farm regeneratively, but we can do it. People are doing it. We need to learn from each other, and hopefully that's going to create a positive future for humanity and for the farming industry.
I'm here at the NIAB site at Groundswell. So we have a site here showing all sorts of things that we do at NIAB, and we are an independent, research underpinned, fully independent company. So we work quite a lot like universities, but we, in a slightly different space, we work very much in close contact with farmers with a practical outcome, one of the main expectations from the sort of work and dissemination and services that we do. So we're standing here next to a lamb finishing lay. I think livestock farmers won't necessarily have seen this. They normally expect to see a fairly simple lolium clover lay, or they might expect to see a herbal lay. The one we're standing next to here, it was a nice one to choose because a complex high species herbal lay contains lots of legumes, lots of herbs and lots of different grass species. And the key is the complexity. You've got a multi-species system which gives you all sorts of different ways of interacting with the soil environment, lots of different root structures. That in turn gives you very different interaction and enhancement of the soil microbial community. And that's a really major part of what gives you a healthy, vibrant soil. So the other side of that coin is, yes, we do want to do things that will enhance the soil, but clearly we have to do them in the context of what a farmer is farming. And be it livestock or be it arable, and therefore taking maybe a break from the arable to improve the soil, we want to have different options that will fit in with a rotation. So this will be great as a lamb finishing lay, as the name suggests. So lambs will come out, they find this very palatable. This is chicory. The other components in it are clover, white clover, red clover and plantain, all of them attractive to lamb and digestible. But from the point of view of an arable farmer who might not even be interested in growing a lay, it's grass-free. So nearly all of the lays will contain at least one, probably up to 5 different species of grass. And so if you're going back into potatoes, which are susceptible to a number of soil-inhabiting pests of one kind or another, like slugs, wireworms in particular they'd be concerned about, because this is a grass-free mixture, potentially you've got less risk of that. It was put together in association with some of our partners in the project. It was a bespoke mixture, so we're trying it out within the project, so this is our first year. We found it to grow quite well, to give you a very nice biomass. We look at things like, is it susceptible to weediness when it's establishing, and no, we found that it grows up and gives you, as you see, this very robust. So this is not even a year old, and we know from measuring the root structure that the root structure will be about this depth below as well. So it's giving us all the things that we want, as well as a useful crop for a livestock farmer. And if you're an arable farmer and you're looking to go for simply soil improvement, this can be cut. I would hate to think that it would go to an AD plant, but you can do at the sort of worst case scenario. Or it can be cut and sold to livestock farmers, or you could bring in livestock there from a neighbouring farmer to use as you wish. So lots of options. Going back to the reason for Groundswell and some of the reasons why we've been working on sustainable options within farming. And I think for much too long, far too many farmers have been reliant on an incredibly high input, low species diversity cropping system. You know, we talk about wheat rape, and I don't think there's any farmers really that will just have 2 wheats followed by a rape going back to 2 wheats, but there's something quite approximating to that. They might drop in some beans or perhaps I don't know, some linseed from time to time, but a very, very short rotation. And the lack of organic matter that goes back into the soil, the lack of complexity within the root system, and the continual disturbance, particularly of this fairly high input tillage into that. And tillage, I'm talking about ploughing. Particularly, you've got inversion, which will disrupt the soil community. It'll disrupt any of those complex microbial assemblages. For example, the mycorrhizal network, which helps you to bring extra nutrients to the crop plant. It will kill off all of those large, longer-lived worms. And so if we can introduce more complexity in terms of different species into the rotation as an absolute minimum, I mean, there's many other things you can do. You can talk about co-cropping, you can talk about clover growing underneath your wheat crop, so that even if you're growing a wheat crop monoculture, which actually isn't a monoculture anymore. And so these are sort of some of the options that we're looking at in our high carbon capture cropping project. So one of the major outcomes that DEFRA wants to see is just how much carbon dioxide can we capture in the crop, above ground, below ground and into the soil, but also how can that contribute to a productive, financially productive as well as sustainable farming system. And these are some of the things that we're looking at today, and I think that's why it's important for an organisation such as NIAB to come with more than just, here is an idea, let's actually track that through and see how much benefit financially you can get from that. What are the stops? What are the things that are preventing you from introducing a new crop into your rotation? Where's the marketplace? Who do we need to bring in? Who do we need to talk about this in government? And we're trying to do all of it. We can't do everything. But it's to put in place a structure. So we like to think that there will be some exemplar crops within our project, there will be some data, but there will also be a way of dealing with this, and we hope interacting with farmers and with government, pulling them together in an effective way.
What's been really good for me today is coming and listening to some of the seminars, listening to some of the farmers who are using some of these principles, whether it be cover cropping, minimum tillage, or just trying to extend crop rotations to, as I said, not go back to traditional methods of farming, but to use new technologies, new methods to try and enhance the conventional systems to, at the end of the day, try to have a sustainable farming system, but also to have a profitable one as well. Events like this are really important for ultimately farmers. Farmers can come and learn from a whole host of industry specialists. Now, I think that it's really good just to get off farm and to actually just listen to other people, and not just other people, but like-minded people as well. Now, there's a lot going on here, and you know, some of it you take with a pinch of salt. You know, a lot of it's not going to be maybe applicable to your farm or your particular situation. But one of the principles of, I think, regenerative agriculture is that it very much depends on the farmer using their own skills to actually implement things that are suitable to their system, their soil types and their challenges, to sort of select the principles that apply to them that they can bring onto their own farm. So I think for anyone coming to this type of event, a farmer, there's a lot to go at, but I think it's really good just to not only hear from the specialists, but to integrate with like-minded farmers, people in similar circumstances going through similar challenges.